Hey guys, welcome to the Titan rig walkthrough. I'm just going to take you through some of the features of Titan that are pretty basic across all my rigs, and then we're going to get into the more specific things that make Titan unique. So first off, he has a joint-based facial rig. I have some SDKs and some direct connects in here to help you get really broad mouth shapes, and you can come in here and refine with the more individual controls. You'll notice that his eyes have all of the blink, individual lid controls, full blink, located on the master. And throughout the rig, on his eyes, you'll see a local to global, his head, all of his appendages, and even his pole vectors. They all have local to global controls. Those have been brought to my attention in the past couple of rigs, so he has those throughout his body. His torso is a direct FK system, but he's a very broad character, so he has a few joints like this and on his chest and on his lats to help with deformation, and he can fully Terry Crews. This is why I don't get any work done. So that's pretty fun. One of the things that has been more recently added to my rigs is the magic hand. This is another thing that just helps animators block out shapes really quickly and easily. It's something that animators have really responded well to, so that's now consistent across my rigs. And now we're going to jump in to the more fun things with this guy. So this is what makes Titan unique. He can fully deploy his stone armor just like he does in the show Invincible, which is what the character's based off of. And I also gave him the ability to isolate which parts of his body he deploys. So a little shout out to Jax from Mortal Kombat. He can just do his arms. Then you can bring in his torso. And you can also invert that, although I'm not really sure what practical effect that would have. But yeah, that is the main feature of Titan. That was really what I was excited to put into this character, into this rig. So I do want to kind of take you guys behind the scenes for animators in particularly, so you can understand what's going on, so we can avoid some issues with more creative things in the future. So first off, I want to show you this. So as I click this geo, you'll see over here it says stone skin. I need to illustrate what's going on here. So right now the skin is actually active, and what I'm doing is piping in a transparency map, and this is just a texture that reflects the overlying stone, and this is in place for the following reason. So if I take off his skin and I deploy his armor, let's just turn that off. If I go over here and just have him move pretty basically, you'll see that we start to expose his flesh. So instead of just getting rid of his underlying geo when his stones deploy, that does two things that work against us. One, it makes him look really unnatural and robotic, like you won't be able to hide all these breaks. Another thing is it precludes us from certain things like individual anim control. Like I feel like animators are going to want to be like, oh, I can like blow off his armor like to show damage, right? And if I removed his underlying skin, we wouldn't have that. So you kind of have to be creative with how you do that. You'll notice that each stone, as it deploys, actually has its own control. So I try not to color this up so the controls get hidden with each particular stone that's not currently deployed. But once it's out there, you guys can really be creative with what this is doing. So then when you have the underlying stone skin, you can actually completely move the character however you want and not have to worry about seeing any of this breaking. So that's what really helps this come together. I'm going to get a lot of questions about, oh, can I just do like the hands or just the head? You really have to maybe play to camera. I didn't want to overload this with too many SDKs or individualized deployments. I gave as much control as I reasonably could while making this performative. So I'm really hoping to see animators flex on this. It's been a really fun character to create, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So this is Titan. He's going to be available on Gumroom for everyone. And if you're a part of my Patreon, Anyone who's been one of my $1 tier patrons for a couple months, you guys can just message me and you'll have access to them. Anyone who's been on any of my other higher tiers, you'll have immediate access to them. Thanks for everyone for the consistent support. I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. It's been largely because you guys have been supporting me on Gumroad and Patreon. I really appreciate it. Please tag me in whatever animations you create with this guy. Thanks everybody, and happy animating.